Hey there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam Hind, and today I want to talk to you about some Christmas inspiration on social media. Now, I specifically decided to call this one social media today, not Facebook. So I've had lots of you asking, what about other platforms? And although we spend most of our time in Facebook, I think that's a really valid point. What about all the other platforms? Well, the inspiration I have for you today is really relevant to anywhere that you can adapt this. So what I want to do is give you some little tips and ideas on how you can incorporate Christmas into your social media strategy. Now, Christmas is a time where I really feel that community changes, the way that we think changes, and it's really good if you can play off that, because suddenly people that were miserable and grumpy, they become a little happier over Christmas. And people that might be happy through the year, it turns them a little grumpy. Everyone kind of goes into a total tailspin. So what I would really encourage you to do is think about how you can adapt your social media to reflect the Christmas season, hopefully play off a bit of that Christmas cheer, but most importantly, use the time to really build your business, get yourself some more sales, hopefully build up your team and keep that momentum going. So let's have a little bit of a look. I've got 7 little tips and ideas for you. 1 or 2 of them might be awesome. You might find that all of these are great ideas. So we're going to be incorporating some of them ourselves this year. So let's dive on in and have a little bit of a look at 7 ways to incorporate Christmas into your social media strategy this year. Okay, so tip number 1 is a fairly basic one, but it's one that I think lots of us don't even think to do. Actually, a number of these are fairly straightforward and lots of us don't think to do them. So the first one I want to point out is your profile picture. Now, your profile picture is something that we tell you not to change. And I'm not suggesting that you change it. Just give it a little facelift for Christmas. Remember that your profile picture should reflect your brand. So if that happens to be a logo, then it should always be your logo. If it happens to be you, a headshot, then it should stay as that. Whatever your branding is, that's what your profile picture should be. However, for Christmas, you can give it a little bit of a facelift, give it a little bit of a Christmas tinkle of cheer. Maybe chuck a little Santa hat on your head if you happen to be your headshot for your profile picture. If you are using a logo, we're going to try and Christmas up our logo this year and have a little bit of fun with that. So the reason I think this is a clever thing to do is because everywhere your comments go, everywhere that anyone mentions you, anytime that you're tagged, any post on social media that either comes from your page or where someone mentions your page, that little profile picture of yours goes with it. So it's an opportunity to be constantly branding and seeding your business and create a little bit of curiosity and intrigue. It's what we call subliminal persuasion. So we're kind of letting people know a bit about what's going on. We're crossing people's paths without deliberately doing it by using that profile picture effectively. Now, here's the clincher. If you keep it recognizable, so let's just say we're talking the Oxano marketing brand here and everyone is seeing that logo and they recognize that logo, add a tiny tweak to the logo, maybe a Santa hat or change a color just ever so slightly for Christmas. And it kind of draws a bit of attention because it's a bit of a pattern interrupter of the brain. So there's a little bit of psychology there for you for some fun. So get on in and give your profile picture a little tweak. It's also a good little marketing strategy as well. But be mindful, do not change your profile picture because your brand still needs to be front and center. Okay, tip number 2 is change your cover image. Your cover image, when people go to Facebook, and we are now speaking specifically Facebook, also Twitter, any of those platforms, LinkedIn, where you're using a cover image, just a little tip is to make sure you're regularly updating that. Your cover image is a place to tell a bit of the story. So it's about using visual elements to tell people about a bit about the experience they might have, what you do, what they can expect from you. Give them a feeling. Your cover image should evoke a feeling. So for example, over Christmas time, if you really want to be about cheer, or maybe you want to be more about education over Christmas, or maybe you want to be a place, a community, for example, reflect that in your cover image. So I highly recommend using your cover image effectively over Christmas time. And if you happen to have a little Christmas message even the week before Christmas, get on in and update that as well. Little reminder though, don't leave it and forget about it because it is very time sensitive. So once you get to Boxing Day, make sure you've got a little alarm in your phone to go in and change your cover image back or to something new so that it doesn't get confusing. And the same with your profile picture. To me, there's nothing worse than seeing branding that clearly hasn't been updated or changed on a Facebook page or an Instagram profile or a Twitter, or did I say Twitter or Tinder before? Tongue-tied. I think I meant to say Twitter. I hope that's what I said. I'm not going to give you any tips on Tinder, by the way. If you want to know how to update your Tinder profile, that's on you. We'll leave that one out. Okay. Number 3, moving on. Number 3 for Christmas inspiration on social media is to run a giveaway. Now, giveaways, I think, go so well at Christmas. They go hand in hand with what Christmas is all about. People love winning stuff. It gets people excited. It gets them in the mood, and everyone's doing it. So you're kind of just jumping in on what everyone else is doing. It's kind of the season. So if you're going to do a giveaway, Christmas time's a great time to do it. And we notice we get a huge interaction and response when we do that. And it's good because, and I don't mean necessarily on our page, I mean with your pages, we notice you get a lot of interaction. The reason this is good is because you want to be really inspiring people to buy your products if you are product driven as gifts. So here's a little key here. If you're going to do a Christmas giveaway, give away something that's also a great gift idea because it also allows you to promote it without promoting it. So you can also make little mention in your competition. This is an awesome gift idea. If you don't win, but you want to buy this for somebody special, here's the link to get it, or here's how you can go about doing it, or ask me for more information. Remember, little tweak here, curiosity and intrigue is important. So try not to give the farm away. If you can get people to approach you for more info is always a big bonus because it allows you to build that relationship. Now, little tip on running giveaways, please make sure that you follow Facebook and Instagram's competition rules. So on Facebook, it's against its rules to ask people to tag or share in order to win. Be very, very careful. You can get in a lot of hot water if you breach these rules. If you're on Instagram, those rules are a little bit different. You actually can ask people to share to win. You can ask people to make mentions, but you can't ask people to tag their friends. So you've got to be a bit careful with that. Unless they're in the image, you can't bait people to tag their friends. So just be mindful. Get in and check out the rules. We might even put a link to the rules in the show notes here for you. And we've also got a little competition cheat sheet we'd love to gift you as a little Christmas present. So if you would like that free downloadable cheat sheet on how to run competitions on Facebook, we've also got the scripts in there that you can use to make sure that you are putting your disclaimers in there correctly. And we give you a few little ideas on how to run a competition and what you can do without breaching those rules. So if you want that download, check that out in the show notes. Okay, so number 4 is across Christmas, across December, start highlighting gift giving products in your range and be mindful of your audience. So make a great thing to do is to give some examples or ideas, and also take your own photos is a big, big thing that I would recommend that you do. So think about, for example, gift ideas under $50, gift ideas under $100, or gift ideas for him and gift ideas for her. Get in and have some fun with it, and don't do what everyone is doing, which is, here's a product, buy this for Christmas. Just make it a bit of fun and try and change it up a little bit. Do something a bit unique and different. Give a couple of little tips that involve both your products and maybe some products that are not yours. You could give them, 10 clever gift ideas under $100 or under $50 or under $20. And some of them could be your products, but maybe some are something else as well. So you're providing a bit of extra value and you're not making it all about promoting you. Okay, so next one, number 5 is think about how you can provide value that's not about you, which leads on very well from number 4. And this is what value, what fun things can you put in posts around Christmas that your audience are going to care about? For example, Could you share some Christmas recipes? Could you share some gift tips, some hacks, some clever ideas, some clever little wrapping videos, for example? What can you put up on your social media that's relevant to your audience, is somehow loosely related to what you do, but is not about selling your product and promoting your product or your business? So what else could you do? What other value could you provide that is a little bit Christmas oriented? Want to jump in now to I think this is number 6. I'm trying to check my notes here so I don't go off track here. Number 6 is a really big one. You guys have heard me talking, probably if you've listened to one of our other podcast episodes or any of my webinars, we talk a lot about asking engagement questions. So this is where we encourage you to get people to interact with you and your page. So getting them to ask you questions, asking them questions about what matters to them, maybe ask their opinion, asking them what would they rather, asking them for their involvement. Now, the reason it's so important you ask people to engage is because number 1, it shows you care. Number 2, it helps you build a relationship and open up conversation with them. Number 3, it makes your page more interesting. And number 4, when you've got loads of engagement on your post, Facebook will show your page and your post to more people. So it has a little snowball effect. So here's a couple of little tips. Start morphing your engagement questions that you ask, and you might do, say, 1 a week, or you might do them slightly more frequently than that. Morph them to be a little bit more Christmas focused. So ask some questions Christmas related, such as, do you wrap your gifts like this or like this? Show a man's version of wrapping and a female's version of wrapping. You could ask people what their Christmas tradition is. Ask them, what would they rather? Ask them what's the worst Christmas gift they've ever received or the funniest gift they've ever received. Ask them some controversial questions like, what must be on a Christmas table, turkey or ham? Maybe that's not controversial, but you get where I'm going. Have a little bit of fun with this. Ask them, how should a ham be glazed? Again, know your audience, because if your audience is a bunch of guys, that question is not going to get you anywhere. So get to know who it is that you're speaking to, and then have some fun with it. I also encourage you to pay attention to what other people are doing. So if you see some fun questions go up on social media that stop you in your tracks, take a little screenshot for later, and then think about how you might be able to adapt a similar thing to your page. So don't copy, but use other people's ideas as inspiration. I'm a big believer in not reinventing the wheel. If someone else has come up with a great idea, incorporate it. Do something similar. Have some fun with it. By the way, we do this sort of stuff all of the time, and we have you guys jump in and take our ideas and use them, and we really encourage that. So if you see us put a fun post up on our page and you think, hey, that would be relevant to my audience, I could use that, create your own version of it. We will not be offended. We will see it as a huge compliment. So get in there and ask some engagement questions, have some fun with it, and get curious about what other people are doing and take inspiration from that. My very last little tip in this episode for getting Christmassy on social media is this, and that is, 'tis the season to be thankful. I really, really believe that all times of the year we should be sharing our gratitude, expressing our gratitude in many different ways. I know I've mentioned a couple of times recently, in fact, about how I find writing little gratitude cards and letters, even if they never get sent, is probably as uplifting for my soul as it is for anybody else's. But at Christmas time in particular, I'm a big believer in sharing your gratitude openly. And what I mean by that is, on your page, it's a really great opportunity to share maybe a little bit of gratitude towards some of your customers, saying a few thank yous, doing a couple of little highlights or showcases, sharing some gratitude towards the company that you work with, maybe people that are not customers, maybe they're a team, or maybe they're people that have just had some kind of an impact on you and or your business this year. Maybe it's even family. Another thing that I think works really well in this space as well is telling a little bit of a story, share some stories. Maybe this year has been a year of journeys for all of us in some way, shape or form, and it's a really good opportunity to share a little bit of your story this year. And Christmas time is sort of that wrap-up time where I think people really want to hear from our hearts. They want to hear, what matters to you, what you're passionate about, even a little bit of vulnerability as well. So Christmas is a great time for all of that. And on the flip side of that, do some lives, jumping in, talking Christmas, maybe talking thank yous, talking gratitude, sharing stories, all of those things, even showing off some gift giving ideas could be a good time to do that too. So guys, I want to leave it there. I wanted to keep this one short and sweet, but I just wanted to jump on in and, share a bit of Christmas spirit. So I love Christmas time. Big, huge fan of Christmas time, mostly because it's where I see the most smiles on the most people's faces. So that'll do it for me, and I'm sure it probably does it for you too. So I hope that this has given you a couple of little ideas today, some inspiration on how you can incorporate Christmas into your social media. I can't wait to see what you come up with, but most importantly, take care of yourself. God bless, and we will see you again on next week's episode. Bye for now.